I was advocating for her, and I was reporting back, and I was writing reports and turning in reports to CPS based on the abuse that she was telling me that she was experiencing while in foster care. At first, they embraced me, and they were allowing me to have visitation with her. When I started making too many waves, they turned everything back on me. They filed a court order that said I was a predator to Allie, and they were telling me I was not allowed to have contact with her because they were trying to silence things, and they were using that as a means to scare me. CPS was in charge of Allie at that time. She was their responsibility. If they filed a court order that I was a predator or was harming her, they should have pressed charges, and they should have followed up on that, and they never did. Shortly after that, Allie went missing from CPS care. She was AWOL for over a year. After that year was up, they placed her with me. They said I was a good home and a good fit for her, and they allowed her to be placed in my home. Those are two opposite things in a very short time, but they do that to a lot of parents. That's a tactic they use to silence people, to keep control of the situation, to get people to look the other way. CPS is very corrupt, and it needs to be defunded. It's very evil what they do. They can remove children from any of your homes for any reason. It's irrelevant whether you're a good parent or a bad parent. If CPS wants to traffic your kid, they can come in and take your kid, and you really won't have a leg to stand on. CPS has no checks and balances. They don't have any oversight. The ombudsman of your state is supposed to be the checks and balances, but the ombudsman's usually corrupt as well. There's nobody that CPS answers to. They work with the Freemason Brotherhood police. When they come to your door, they can take your kid, and they'll usually bring the police with them to do it. They work with corrupt judges that are also Freemasons. When I was fighting for Allie when she was in CPS care, I went to the ombudsman for help. The ombudsman took our information. We met face to face in Riverside, California, when I tried calling, and she had retired. That's just how things work in a corrupt system. A social worker from the county came out and opened a case for Allie. The social workers had changed a couple times while she was at the shelter. At one point, a new social worker came. In social work, they will dispatch somebody to come out and initially assess the kid and take the paperwork, take the report. That's their job. When that part's done, then they hand that off to another social worker. So a new social worker will come out after that. There's a really high turnover rate of social workers for kids. They change frequently. So the second social worker came out. By this time, Allie had a pretty thick folder. They had information. I don't know where they got that information. But that social worker was very prejudiced toward Allie. She had not met Allie yet. She had not spoken to her once. But she told me, and she told the other the other counselor, that Allie was oppositional defiant, that she was a troubled child, and she already basically had an opinion made up of who Allie was. We went back and forth with CPS. When Allie left the runaway shelter, she was placed in a mental hospital. After that, she was placed in a foster home. There was a lot of abuse going on in the foster homes. At that time, I had a good rapport with the social workers because I was advocating for Allie. At one point, that changed. They got very irritated that I kept reporting problems and making waves and making reports because that was forcing them to move Allie to different homes. In a year's time, she was in 19 different homes and attended 19 different high schools. So it wasn't too long before the social workers were not really happy with me, where they were allowing me to have visits with her, so I could take her for a soda, take her for an ice cream, whatever. They stopped that, and then they turned on me, said I was a predator, tried to they put it into a fake court order that I was not allowed to contact her. But Allie kept contacting me, telling me, this is what's going on. Can you help me? And I was bound by duty to do the right thing. Even though I was being threatened by CPS, I chose to do the right thing.